Hey there, this is Lynn. Today I'll be demonstrating a pouring technique with my guest, Mr. Uki.
Hi guys, this is Mr. Uki. So we have a pre-painted canvas with some black acrylic paint that you just saw in the shot. It's not dry, just kind of slathered it on. It's almost like a puddle so far, so I thought, hey, it would be great for a pouring technique. So we're just laying out paper for the mist that is undoubtedly going to come. Alright, and these are the paints I'll be using. So this is a bare color sample. This is what you'd get like at a craft store for painting walls of a home. That was blue. This is a lighter shade of blue. This is a red-orange color. We've got almost a purpley blue color, and you can't see it, but this is a off-white color. So we're just gonna start off with the off-white color. And the thing about these paints is that they're quite thick. These paints, these color samples really are meant to be samples of the wall paint you put in your homes. So they don't act like the tubes of acrylic that you buy at a craft store, or like the fine art acrylic you'd use painting. But that is almost part of the challenge in this technique today, is to see how the very thin, runny black craft paint will work with this thick, almost goopy wall paint. And all these wall paints aren't the same even. They are just returned bottles. So they come in all colors and types. Some are eggshell, some are satin, some are high gloss, some are no gloss. So even though they are all wall paint, they're all not the same.
After having these paints for so long, it's nice to be able to try something different with them. I've actually used them for different kinds of paintings, and they just don't behave the same way as the normal paint I use, the artist paint. A little bit harder to blend.
Much harder to blend. And they take much longer to dry. Like acrylic paint, you can walk away for half an hour and come back and do another layer. And this stuff, you almost have to leave it overnight. You can't just whip out your hairdryer and try it faster in a couple minutes. You've got to be patient with it.
And it takes a little bit more work to get it spread over a larger canvas. I used it as a back underpainting for a painting I sold, and it took a lot of paint just to get it to cover.
Alright, so we got the off-white and the dark blue, and here's the light blue going down. Yeah, I recently used the black wall paint. I had another color sample to paint a silhouette. And I didn't use it for anything else, and it worked surprisingly well. It just held its own compared to the rest of the acrylic, so I think for the silhouette it was perfect. So it has its ups and downs. I mean, other than being incredibly cheap, that is a big up. It has uses. There are downs to it.
But they make great underpaintings.
Yeah, they make great underpaintings. One of the downs is you can't have texture with this. It's wall paint. It's supposed to lay flat against the drywall, so it's almost surreal when you paint with it. You're expecting it to act like acrylic and build up, but it doesn't. It just smooths itself and lays flat. So if you do use it in a painting, when you're done, there's not going to be bumps, ridges. It's going to be mostly just flat. like a book. So, we're adding some white here because I didn't want to have blue on blue on blue. And we already have enough white, so just a little bit with the palette knife is enough. We don't have to pour more of the white.
And actually this whole video has been an adventure with the pouring and then trying to get the voiceover done.
Yes.
We had new software and just trying to figure out how to work that software has been amusing.
I don't know, it's kind of been like a headache.
Well, it was funny.
Yeah, this is actually the second time that this video has been voiced over. Because we did not realize that we weren't recording until we were done. So.
Because apparently with this software you have to hit record twice.
Yeah. No biggie, though. Just more time to review a painting and consider it. So that skip, we only missed pouring 2 or 3 dots of this teal. That's the only thing that happened. And you see me getting paint all over my hands. You know, you're not really a painter unless you get paint all in your hands and your shirt and your pants and your clothing, and you start mixing up your drinking cups with water cups, and it's just a downward spiral.
And your easel is a portrait.
Yeah, so, you know, I think there's nothing wrong with using your finger in your painting. It's gonna get everywhere anyways.
Makes it all more fun.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so this is the...
Oh, you didn't talk about the color choices this time.
Oh, right. I'm so sorry. Okay, so with the color samples that I keep mentioning in the video, see, I buy what's called the oops paint when people buy these samples, test it out in their home, and then return it to the store. So every time I go to like Lowe's or Home Depot, I go straight for the paint department, and I look at their shelf, and there are tons of these little jars of paint they're just trying to get rid of. They're usually 50 cents. So I usually just take up what I think is an attractive color and go on my way. But what I have also done is gotten a swatch from the wall. You know, when you go to look for a paint color, there'll be tons and tons and tons of cards of colors. And you can ask, you know, attendant, please, I want a gallon of this color. But you can do that with these little samples. And the little samples, at least where I live, is $3. And to me, it's much cheaper than going to, say, Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, and just getting a tube of acrylic paint. So that's definitely an upside of this paint. It's just a trade-off that it's different to work with.
And here you can see some of the feathering that black is doing, which is the craft paint.
Yeah, the way the craft paint was mixing with this wall paint was really unique. And when Lynn noticed that, I started putting more on top because I wanted that to be more apparent in the final piece. I didn't want it to be buried in the bottom.
And you also chose these colors because you thought they would complement each other well.
Yes, black and white is just classic. I wanted that. And I had so many blues that I couldn't choose between, so I just picked them all. And it really felt like it needed a color to pop. So I chose this red-orange. I thought that the orange part of the red-orange would really complement the blue. And I thought the red portion of the red-orange would really complement, especially the teal, because you have a greenish hue kind of to the teal. It's almost like a blue-green to me. So just, you know, using what we know of color theory and Even if this is an abstract piece of art, it doesn't mean that it can't be pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, and these colors definitely go well together.
Well, thank you. So we're getting ready to pour. And this is just a leftover container from mushrooms from the store. So just be resourceful. Art doesn't have to be expensive.
Use your environment, what you have. Don't need to go out and buy anything just to make some art.
Yeah, now see, at first right here I started to freak out because I thought that only the craft black paint was going to run, which at first that was the only thing running. But luckily, before we started pouring the wall paint on top, the canvas was just covered in gobs of this craft paint, and I think it being underneath helped move the paint on top. So it actually turned out nice to have some areas that were very runny and wanting to move quickly that hit resistance against areas of paint that just wanted to stay stuck. And you see my little fingertips. I learned the hard way that next time, don't hold the canvas by the sides as you pour it. Hold it by the back and protect your fingers. So this is just us trying to get every spot covered. There was a spot on the corner I felt had to be covered up. Gravity just wasn't working fast enough. You can see just the dripping of the paint off the canvas. It was quite a lot.
But when you look in that little tub, it actually wasn't too much.
No, it really wasn't. I think most of it stayed on the canvas, it just moved. And this right here was the last corner that held up everything, so got a little frustrated and started shaking and coercing it, which, doesn't work. Just be patient.
Or just shake it some more.
Yeah, I mean, the shaking, maybe it did help. Maybe by about 4 or 5 seconds. We still have gobs of paint dripping. So that was that. It's time to lay it flat and let it dry. Alright.
That pattern is just amazing.
Thank you. You've got one small spot and I've got this.
I'm not even sure how I got the paint. And I love all these little details in the darker blue and the black.
Now overall I did like it, but I still felt at this point that something was missing. So what I decided to do was to try and give it more texture. So I left, came back, got a spray bottle full of soapy water, and I wanted to spray some of the areas, but we took the paint that we had left over and just kind of used it as a test run first. Which at first was discouraging because, as you can see, only the craft paint was affected and that wall paint was just stubborn and going nowhere. I just sprayed on the recording the upper corner up here where you have the light blue solid squash. It's not on the recording, but I did spray 4 more sections of light blue just because you can't see it here, but it did make a difference, and it looked awkward to have just one textured and the other sections not.
And doing that really brought the piece together and gave it a cohesive look.
So guys, here's the final product.
Thanks for watching.
Bye!